This video will introduce you to modal verbs, or verbi servili in Italian. In Italian, modal verbs express a necessity, a requirement, a possibility, a wish, or an ability, among other things. The formula to construct modal verbs is quite simple. They are formed by combining a modal verb with another verb in its infinitive form. For example, you'll need a conjugation of a verb such as dovere, to have to or to must, potere, to be able to, volere, to want, sapere, to know, or piacere, to please, plus a verb in its infinitive in the are, ere, or ire form. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. These are the four main modal verbs in Italian. Dovere, to have to or to must, potere, to be able to, volere, to want, and sapere, to know. Now, in the most simple form of modal verb, we would use the present tense conjugation of any of these plus the infinitive of the other verb. Read through the examples here. Notice that for each of them, we have the present tense form plus the infinitive of the other verb. So far, we've looked at the use of modal verbs in the present tense. These same verbs can be constructed in other tenses, however, they may have extra or other components. We can construct it using the conditional tense. For example, tu dovresti andare, you should go. Notice that our modal verb comes from dovere, but it's in the conditional form. We still have the infinitive of the other verb at the end of that construction. We can also use the imperfect past. For example, where we use tu dovresti andare in the conditional, we could change the conjugation of dovere into the imperfect. Dovevi. Tu dovevi andare, you were having to go. You should have gone. Using modal verbs in the passato prossimo may at first seem a little bit complicated, but we are able to do it. All we need to do is change the modal verb to its past participle. So in this case, dovere becomes dovuto. We keep the original infinitive of the main verb, and then we add a form of essere or avere depending on who was having to have done something. In this case, we need to use a form of essere, so say, because the auxiliary verb, which is essere, must agree with the main verb, and andare takes essere. If we had another verb in andare's place, for example, comprare, to buy, we would use avere as the auxiliary verb. And in the case of the future tense, all we need to do is use the future form of dovere, or of the modal verb in question. In this case, tu dovrai andare, you will have to go. There are other compound tenses that we can use, so more complex tenses, but these are some relatively common examples for you.